There is a movie starring Eddie Murphy called The Distinguished Gentleman, where he plays a Florida con man who just so happens to have the same name as a conservative member of Congress who passes away, and Eddie Murphy kind of slips into this role of filling in for him in this weird sort of way. Anyway, the whole sort of premise of the movie is how crooked Congress is, and how they all dress up in suits, and they all call each other the distinguished gentleman or the distinguished gentlelady, and they all have this air of pomp and circumstance to it, but at the end of the day, they're all fucking con men. I have, for the majority of my life that I've been in politics, been somebody that wanted to see an air of professionalism from my elected representatives. And I still feel that way. I want people who know what the fuck they're doing to be in politics. People always go, I don't want a career politician. No, I do. I just don't want a corrupt or crooked career politician. But I'll tell you something. I don't live in Maine, but if I did, I would be very seriously considering voting for the guy without the suit and tie. The guy I'm going to show you right now is running for Senate in Maine against the Republican incumbent. And he is the kind of guy that gets off of work and goes to one of his town halls or one of his rallies and just talks real to the people. Watch this.
Right now, in American history, it feels like we have no choice. We are hanging on by a thread. And we either organize and build power and fight, or we lose. And we can't lose. It is not an option. And once we have fought back fascism, once we have protected our democracy, once we have protected our rights and our freedoms, it needs to be a different kind of freedom. Not just a romantic freedom. Not a freedom of talking about rights we must defend, but a material freedom. The freedom to have time and energy to live a life of dignity and joy. The freedom to be able to put your energy back into your neighbors and your community, not just scraping by so you can afford a roof over your head. That's not freedom. Struggling, existing, not being able to follow your dreams, that is not freedom. Freedom is having the time and the money to raise a family, to spend time in your community, to create things, to build things, to take risks, to start businesses, to fall in love. That is freedom. And the future that we have to build, it needs to be building towards that kind of freedom for all Americans.
Damn straight. We have to fight this. We did it before, right? We fought back fascism globally about 100 years ago. And then we had a different kind of freedom, a material freedom, where people not only felt free, but went out and lived the American dream. Coming out of the 40s, as we entered into the 50s and 60s, into the 70s, that's what we had. And when we fight back fascism again this time, that's what we need to have again.